dipping the wheel off on the outside there just cost him a lot, as we see Cam Shields has now made his way past. So very, very brave move, but unfortunately didn't work that time.
Oh, I wasn't convinced he was actually going to try it, and I was surprised when he did, and he almost pulled it off. That could have been huge.
Yeah, it would have been, and it would have been a very interesting run down to Honda as well, if he had pulled that move off. So you've got to give him credit for trying, but unfortunately just didn't pay off this time.
Well, spectacular to watch. He's back to third, and we'll see if he can fight back now. He's got Chris Anthony behind him, trying to apply the pressure and get himself back onto the podium. Macro now out in front and pulling away from Cameron Shields. 26.8 that time round to a 27.2 for Shields. Leg at 28.6 with a big moment at turn 2, and Anthony at 27.6 running P4.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now as the tyres are coming up to temperature to see how Cam Shields there in second place can actually how it goes against Tim Macro time-wise. So it's going to be a bit of a fair fight between the 207s at the front.
Great exchange though, and that was all set up coming out of MG, where Tim was close enough behind Roland Legg to get the runners. We see this scrap for third place continuing. Anthony just put the nose out a little bit as they turned into Honda, and Roland Legg with a huge slide on the exit of the corner. They don't generally drive these things sideways, and momentum-based race cars they are. You need to be quite precise and smooth, but he somehow makes it work in that thing. But that was a really good exchange, wasn't it? And Macro used the toe perfectly, but Legg's counter-attack was very, very good. He tucked right back in underneath the rear wing of Macro's car and followed him through turn 1.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of this circuit. Yes, the cars do get a little bit affected by the aero wash, but you can actually follow here quite closely. So going through turn 1, right on the gearbox of Macro is no issue, especially with the slightly more downforce in the 2011 spec car. It's quite easy to follow Macro that closely, as we saw. Trying to go around the outside. Obviously, a little more grip from his car, but it's unfortunately not grip in the track.
Fight now for third, and Chris Anthony's got the toe on Roland Legg and will pull out as they go down to turn 1. And they'll run through there side by side at 250 k's an hour, and through goes Chris Anthony, or does he? He's going to have to commit to the outside of turn 2 now. Roland Legg this time has got the desired racing line and holds onto the spot. So another good little bit of racing between these two, and good racing room given when you're wheel-to-wheel at 250 plus through the fastest corner in the sport, and you manage to come out the other side with all 4 wheels on your car. This time, Anthony goes down the inside, and he should complete the move now. Just took him a few more corners than he expected. Yeah,
Roland did the right thing at the exit of the Southern Loop as he tries to fight back around the outside of Siberia there. But he did do the right thing. Just on the exit, just squeezed Chris to the outside, so that he had to get back out of it. If anything, I think Roland should have defended a little more into Honda, but as we can see, he's fighting back here, almost side by side through the hay shed.
Oh, that could be mighty. Goes up the inside at Lukey Heights, and he'll try and position himself for a move down at MG. Anthony defends. It'll compromise his exit out of the corner, and Legg's going to be really good and smooth now through 11 and 12, and get underneath the rear wing of the Macca's Gilmore racing car in front. So I think Anthony actually got a pretty good exit there. Let's see what Rolly can do now through turn 12. He's been in the thick of the action in this race, and he's got another good run, and he's got the toe, so he'll tie himself up behind Chris Anthony. Will he be close enough by the time he gets to turn 1? Yes, he is. Pulls out down the inside, and for the second time in 2 laps, they go wheel to wheel through there. But this time, Chris Anthony can hold on.
Yeah, Chris just squeezed Roland towards the inside of the corner there, so he had to pinch him through turn 1. Little cheeky, but Roland did have to get out of it a little bit, so he's lost a little bit of speed. As you can see, Chris is just pulling away a little bit. So smart driving there by Chris Anthony, and he's just managed to break away just a fraction.
It's good racing, isn't it? And great respect, as I was saying, between them to do that wheel to wheel through turn 1 when you're inches apart at 250 plus k, absolutely pin flat. That's great respect shown by the two of them.
Oh, 100%. We never want to see cars banging wheels, especially open wheelers, because it can go very wrong very, very quickly. So, no, great respect shown between the two drivers, and it'll be interesting to see if Roland can fight back to close the gap back to Chris and have another go at it.
Someone who's doing a really good job unseen at the moment is Nathan Kumar. He's running P5, 28.1 last time round. Not too far off the pace of these two, dicing as they are for 3rd and 4th. So huge improvement for Nathan. He's had a shocking season, bad run of luck this year, but finally it started to come together for him. Actually went out and did a state round at Malala just to get some practice and some race starts and some miles in the car because he's had such a shocking run. And I think that's actually helped his cause quite a bit. So he's doing a really good job, and his lap time's really improving over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, and it's good to see. And he actually won a couple of races, I believe, down at the state round. So, yeah, it's no matter what it is, a race win's a race win, and that's just huge for your confidence. So coming into this round, it's a track that he knows quite well, and we actually just had a spin. Ross McAlpine exit of going into MG. It looked like he's lost the rear. He's managed to get it going, so we're going to keep it green running. But going back to Nathan, it's going to do his confidence the world of good, and that's what you need in these cars. You need a lot of confidence to be able to push the limits and really make use of the aero. To get the aero to work 100%, you need to push it.
Drivers talk about confidence. How do you explain that? How can you articulate that to someone who might not know what that feels like? Because it's a strange thing, isn't it? Where all the drivers go, oh, yeah, you've got to be confident in the car, you've got to feel happy with it. But what is that feeling? Is there a way you can describe that, or is it just something you know deep down in the base of your spine when you tip into a corner that, yeah, this thing's going to come out the other side? Okay.
It is a little bit of that. I mean, a lot of it comes down to just general feel in the car. You know, it's hard to describe, but you need to have a good feel of what the car is doing and what the car is going to do. And yeah, it's just knowing where that limit is and getting as close to that limit as you can. And the way you do that is time in the car. I mean, getting time in these cars is so crucial to just have laps and just, like I said, just push that limit. So therefore, that when it comes to a race weekend, you're going to know where that limit is, and you can always find it, not go over it. You know, as we see from Tim Macro, he's been doing for well over 100 starts in this category now, so he knows well and truly where the limit is. And like we spoke of yesterday, you don't see Tim Macro ever go over the limit. So,
and is there? I have, but not on a racetrack. Is there a moment too when you get in a race car and it might not have been behaving particularly well early on, but when you get out and you turn through that first corner and go, yeah, this is great, this is going to be perfect. Do you have those moments?
Oh, 100% you do, but you also have it go the other way where, you know, the car might turn in and you're like, oh god, this is bad. This is not going to be a fun race. It's the upper, you know, the highs and lows of motorsport. It happens to the best of us. So, you know, when these cars are on, they're on, and they're the best things in the world to drive. You know, and especially in Australia, they're quickest circuit racing cars in the country. So it's just an amazing feeling to drive these cars, especially when they're on.
Our colleague Darren Smith, sitting in the back of the commentary box, just has a bit of a chuckle about that, but I'm not sure why. Anyway, we'll come back to that. 4 laps to go. His spectacular racing career. It was actually. He'll tell you all about it. So it's Tim Macro by 1.8 seconds. Sorry, Basil. Cameron Shields doing a nice job. He's P2. This story's been terrific, hasn't it, this season, to see how he's progressed as a driver and built his way up methodically over the course of the year. So they had realistic expectations about where they are. They knew he was talented, knew he could drive, but it just seems to me like they've managed him coming up through the ranks. And it was almost like when they got to Queensland Raceway, they went, right, you're ready, push the button, away you go. And he delivered, and he got a race win.
Yeah.
It was terrific, and he's picked up with that here, and he's now running P2 to a double champion. He's won 35 of these races. So it's been really impressive to watch that progression over the course of the year.
It has. You know, you got to put it in perspective as well. This kid's 15.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the way he drives these cars, you'd never think he's 15. He's driving well beyond his years. So, you know, he's done it correctly. He actually hasn't put a wheel off all season. Never been in an incident. I think if anything, he was hit once from behind. So he's very controlled. He's very methodical of how he approaches everything. He's very focused. And you know, all the hard work that he's putting in behind the scenes is showing off. You know, his best lap time is a tenth of a second off a two-time champion that's been doing this for many years. So it's incredible credit to you. He's an absolute star. He's an absolute talent. So it's going to be interesting seeing him come back and have a crack in a 2011 spec car.
Is Mark here? Mark Wood?
No, he's
I
not.
haven't seen him, no, so he'll be watching online. G'day to Mark. Hiding family up there, watching on from Toowoomba. Pretty impressive impressed with your young drivers. They're doing a good job. Second and third, I should say, at the moment. The Shields in front of Anthony. And they're trailing Tim Macro, yes, but still really impressive performance by the two of them. Roland Leake still holds on in fourth place. Lap 9 of 11, race 2 of 3. The feature race coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. In fact, final race on the program. A big day of racing here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit for the Shannon's Nationals.
So Roland Lake's actually managed to close the gap to Chris. So the pace in his car is looking quite good. Chris looks like he's just struggling a little bit. So I reckon it could be on for young and old in these last couple of laps coming up.
It already has been. There could be more of it. Where's your racing at, JC? We haven't seen you in a race car too much this year. I know you've got a few things in the pipeline, but when can we expect to see you back in a racing car?
Hopefully soon. I mean, yeah, it's a bit frustrating.